Well, hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Julia Royston at BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the Book Business Boss Consulting, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and be a book business boss. This is the day that the Lord hath made. We shall rejoice and we shall sing and we shall be glad in it. Well, as you can tell, I am not home. I am not in the big black chair. I'm on the road this weekend and I'm always excited to do so. But it is what it is, and I always want to, if I could strive to, go ahead and record something to bless the people. So today, just kind of an old school, just kind of reflecting on my week and the three events this week and all this kind of stuff. And Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. Well, I don't feel like I'm ancient, but first off, thank you so much for all the birthday wishes, text messages, gifts, etc. I appreciate it. My husband has gone overboard. My family did too. And so even though it was May 29th, I'm still like celebrating into June. But so I don't really feel ancient, but I do realize that there's some things that are in me that's just not going out. There are just some things that were put down in me as a baby, as a child, that just it won't leave me. It won't depart. And so I think that's what the scripture is really talking about. They train up a child because there are just some things I just won't do still. I'm free to do it. I'm an adult. It's not illegal. It's not immoral. It's not unethical. But I have an inner restraint. And Miss Peggy Dixon, we were talking about it, and she said, I use that shut mouth grace, and I do that. That's my MO. I talked a lot when I was a child. My parents said when I was in the crib, I would be yelling for them. I wouldn't be crying. I'd be like, hey, or babbling, whatever, as babies do. Because I've always been a major talker. But my husband will tell you when I stop talking, I'm either tired, I may be sleepy, I may be no, not hungry. I'm talk about it. But I may be tired, I may be sleepy, but usually something's going. There's usually a problem going on. And when I go quiet, most of the time I'm like, okay, God, what should I do next? Okay, God, what should I? So that's the type of training I got. I was raised in a very large church. My father was one of the deacons. My mother did pretty much a little bit everything in the church. And so therefore, you know, we weren't perfect, believe you me. So first off, that's my disclaimer. My first disclaimer is we weren't perfect. And my two younger sisters, they might let you have it. Me, I would do my church stare. Yes, ma'am, and go on and maybe cry later. But so my disclaimer is that you're not perfect, and some people have well, I just went off. I just didn't have that much ability to just like go off. Why? And I realize everybody's different. I'm not trying to tell nobody how to live, how to act, whatever. I'm just encouraging you that number one, you are a representative. So Brian, of course, father was a pastor of a large church in Louisville. We were at the other end on 3rd Street. They were on 9th and 10th Street. So therefore, he kind of learned the same thing. He has no filter, doesn't hold his tongue. He's a man all the way from head to toe and gonna tell you like it is. But he still was somebody's representative. He represented his parents. I represented my parents. I represented my family. I represented my life, me. So even today, that's my first point about this old school training. I'm not my own. I don't I just can't go rogue. Even as an adult, I still am accountable to somebody. I am a representative. I'm God's representative at times. I'm a representative of myself. I show up and represent my brand, who I am. BK Royston Publishing will be 17 years old in February, Lord willing, and he hadn't returned. You know, Royal Media will be 8 years old in October, if Lord willing and returned. The Book Business Boss Consulting may have received a trademark in November of 2023, but I established the Book Business Boss in 2020. So in January of 2025, Book Business Boss initially will be 5 years old. So I represent somebody else. I don't represent myself. People who have entrusted their books and their businesses and their consulting with me, I represent them too. Because they pay me real money. We have real contracts. They like, wait a minute, how'd she go? Wow, how'd she go? And even if people attack me, they were like, well, that's not my experience. That's not my experience. Must have been them. So I don't represent, I represent myself, but I'm a representative. I represent somebody else. And when I attend events, I have to realize that there are more people sitting at that seat behind that table. Even though a lot of those books on that table have my name on it, the logo on the back says, we are a family, we're a team. It's more than just you, Joya. There are other people who are dependent on you to move that brand, to get in front of new people, to get in front of new audiences. So you can pull them along. You know, I'm not my own. And I know for some of you who's going to be listening to this in the replay, it's going to be real old school. You'd be like, ooh, that's old school. But it is. It's worked for me. Now, it may not work for you. But as the old folks say, you eat the meat and then spit out the bones. Then, so since even though people may say things to me, I may not say stuff back. I want to. I'm thinking it. I know what to say. But because I represent God, other people, myself, my husband, my family, my heritage, my lineage, I don't say it. I thought it. It's not that I'm not quick-witted enough to do it. Mm-mm. And then number two, this is old school. Somebody's watching. Somebody's watching. Somebody knows you. Now I realize, I just stay in the house. I don't go nowhere. No. Somebody's watching. Now, you can't be a person like me and goes live every week, has 2 shows on Envision Radio, promotes in person, been in the newspaper. I've been on several news outlets. I've been blessed to be in, it's just a miracle from God. I'm blessed on multiple news stations, just if they scan my books and myself, and even if they didn't interview me, I have been. So somebody's watching, somebody saw it, even if it's on the replay. Now, if you're on television, it's a video on their website that could be there a long time. Because of the digital nature of the world, you can research Courier Journal and Joya Royston, and there's an article about me. You know what I'm saying? So somebody is watching. The world is watching, literally. So I have to understand that. I can't. 2 young ladies that I was recently at an event, they walked up to me, and I was just, first off, the first young lady I'm walking through, I teach all the time, and I'm, places all the time. So I can truthfully say, when she made me know her, I was like, yeah, but I couldn't name her name. I didn't know her. She knew me. And so that's the reason why I have to say somebody's watching. So she met me in Houston. She heard my workshop in Houston. And so by nature, if I'm in an event, I'm walking through, getting all the authors' cards. I can't buy all your books, but I interview you for free. I offer an interview. And so I went up to her because she was right across from me. That was the first person I met. She said, oh, Miss Joya. She knew me by name, of course. Oh, Miss Joya, I wouldn't dare not show up because you taught me in Houston. I'm like, when was I in Houston? That's got to be National Black Book Festival. She said, you taught me don't show up no event without no business cards. Even if you got the digital card, you need to have something in people's hands. I'm like, oh, baby. So I took a picture and, that she was there. I was like, okay, well, you got to be on high alert. No matter what happens, somebody knows you. And then I saw another young lady across the way. I said, I remember her from Houston, too. And she said, oh, my gosh, it's so good to see you, Julia. Oh, my gosh, Miss Julia. Well, most of them are much younger, so they call me Miss Julia. Miss Julia, oh. So somebody's watching. So you can't do, but even if they hadn't been there, even if they hadn't been watching, somebody else is watching. I was at another event still this week. Oh, we're Facebook friends. And I have 5,000 on my personal page. And I was like, oh, I just reacted. They know me. I may not know them personally, but they know me. And this one, I bought books from you last time. Wonderful. I'm a talker. I talk to people. That's the reason why God trusts me with this business. I like people. If you don't like people, it's hard to be in a public business thing if you don't like people. But number 2, somebody's watching. And then number 3, this is old school teaching. We talk old school today. Get in where you're feeling, fit in. They taught you, then they have to train you. So that means when they taught you and trained you, then so if you start a new job and they give you the little handbook, they give you the stuff and they teach you in a closed session. That's teaching, that's instruction. This is the how. This is what you're gonna do. But that training piece, on the job training, then you got to go out and face the public. That's where the real, my uncle said, where the rubber meets the road. That's where the real happens. When you're out there on the floor, that's where the training. And with the same thing when I worked at Sears, I was in college. And then now at 61, I have to be totally in. That's that old school training. Now I can't go on I can go on what you taught me. I can remember it, but then I've got to figure out how to apply it because now I'm in my own brain. I'm in my own space. I don't work for JCPS anymore. I did. I don't work for Stites and Harvest, and I don't work for Brown Todd Neighbor. I don't work for them. I work for BK Royston Publishing now. I represent the Royston brand. I represent this brand. So now I have to understand that how I was taught and trained by those other companies and my parents and all that. I've got to be totally in. How am I going to apply? What works? What doesn't work? How's it going to work for my brand? How's it going to work for my life? Some people, it's the opposite. But before I get to that point, number 3 is social media in person do meet up. So when I'm in person, there are some people who know me from social media. There's some people who actually physically met me, like those young women met me in Houston. Okay. But sometimes they all meet. They do meet up in person. Some people that travel about the country like me, your social media life and your in-person life sometimes will meet up. And sometimes that training, that teaching you got will show up on the training floor. And that's where the in-person is. And that's where the enemy sometimes brings contention. And then you got to decide how you're going to handle it. Are you going to bark back at them just like they bark back at you? Or how are you going to respond? Because sometimes that social media and that in-person do meet. And your social media persona and your in-person persona, are they the same? Now, some people I can officially say yes. Just like I felt like you were on social media, it's exactly where you showed up. And I'm like, yay. And sometimes I'm like, no, I was ready because you showed me who you were online. And I see you in person and you the same person. But they do meet up. So you have to be careful for that too as well. And some people, like, I don't care. This is me. This is who I am. And the head goes and the snap the finger and the popping whatever. And that's good because I understand you. But then there's sometimes your social media persona and your in-person don't match. But sometimes they do meet. And so people are watching you because they see you online. I can't be speaking one thing online. And when you see me, I'm doing something else. I'm cussing folks out. I'm doing something else. Because my last point is And we've seen this in recent years. Your life is dependent on it. Your quality of life is depending on it. I'm not going to name any names. Excuse me. People, if they had it to do all over again, they wouldn't have said that. They wouldn't have done that. They would have been more careful with their words, careful with their actions, because it not only slowed down, it might not have stopped their reputation. It slowed down their career, slowed down their business, slowed down their, their lifelong legacy has been tainted. And sometimes because of social media, etc. And if you make one mistake, it's over. Now you can, over time, figure it out. But people are so savvy, they just put your name in, Google you, and then there it is. And you always see that negative. Remember that time that person said? Remember that time that person did? And remember that time that person? Yeah, you never live it down. That's that old school teaching today. Train up a child in the way they should go. Because when they're old like me, they won't depart. Sometimes there's just some things you just can't do. Because remember, you don't represent just, you are not your own. Scripture tells us we're bought with a price. Jesus gave his all. He was the ultimate sacrifice for us. And if you're a Jesus promoter, a Jesus representative, you're representing him. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, my followers, my adherers to my teaching, if you love one another. Yeah, somebody is watching. Sometimes your social media and in person do meet up. And then sometimes your teaching, your life is dependent on it, how you act and how you behave. I hope that helps you. I hope that helps you today and gives you some points to think about for reflection as we head into the half of the year. This is month 6. We got 6 more to go, but we in month 6. And I've been doing a lot of reflecting and a lot of prayer time and depending and asking God for leading and guiding. Because why? I want to live my best life. Coming up at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right on envision-radio.com, where praise meets talk 24/7. Be sure and go directly to the website. You can access it on your phone, any mobile device, but we also have a free app on the Google Play Store, Envision Radio and Magazine. Be sure and download the free app too as well. Then coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Spike Davis and Friends show. Tune in for Last Music and More. And then Tuesdays is the Book Business Boss show. Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right where? On envision-radio.com, where praise meets talk. Remember, there are 100 ways to be a book business boss right there on YouTube, and the handle is Book Business Boss. If you're ready to be a book business boss, download my free ebook, From Author to Entrepreneur. From Author to Entrepreneur, beabookbusinessboss.com. Coming up over my left shoulder is the 159th block party on June 14th, be it that Juneteenth celebration, 159 years of since that act on June 19th, 1865. It will be happening there in Jeffersonville, Indiana, right there on Michigan Avenue between 6th and 7th Street in downtown Jeffersonville in their arts district. So be on the lookout for it. You're going to see tents and everything there. It should be a wonderful time. And then, so that's Friday, June 14th. Will be set up by 10 a.m., 10 to 10. And then on June 20th, the Alabama Black Chamber of Commerce in Birmingham, Alabama, Mr. Jerry Williams is the director, and thank him for the invitation. Write the book that builds the brand. So if you're in the Birmingham, Alabama area, and they come from all over the state of Alabama. So I'll be there on June 20th, and then June 28th through the 30th is the Indiana Black Expo at the Indianapolis Convention Center in Indianapolis, Indiana. Look for us at booth 1316. They assured me, I contacted them. They said, you're at the same space you was last year, Miss Julia. And I said, okay, thank you very much. So I'll be right there at the door. Normally I'm at the entrance H. And right there at the door, I have 3 booths set up there. So join me, stop by, come on through. In Indianapolis, Indiana for the Indiana Black Expo. I trust that that's something I said or did. Stop by, see me, meet me up. June and July are busy months for me, so I'll be on the road quite a bit in the next 2 months, Lord willing, and the weather holds up. For all of my online stores, all of my websites, the way to contact me is at juliaakroyston.com. And of course, if we need to have a conversation, if I can help in any way, go to talkwithroyston.com. That's talkwithroyston.com. I'm Dr. Julia Royston, praying today, tomorrow, and always that you live your best life. Be blessed. Have a great day. Bye-bye.